with Tom Parry, telling us all about the great writer of Sherlock, Arthur Conan Doyle, in a little story we like to call The Case of the Disappearing 5 Pints of Beer, 1 Snakebite and Black, 1 Jaeger Bomb, and 5 Double Rum and Cokes of the Baskervilles. It's a classic.
Here we go, guys. Here we go, power team. Yeah, you're on board. This is the story of how a guy who wrote the story of the best detective in the world became the best detective in the world. Ayo! Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Conan? Oh, as in the barbarian. Hero who wrote, have you heard of him? Sherlock Holmes. Yes, we have. By the way, the guy who gave Benedict Cumberbatch his career. Thank you very much, Cumberbatch. Anyway, picture the scene. Conan Doyle is strutting through the morning papers. Ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-ding-ding, local council, page 3. And then he hits this case. Ooh, hello, social injustice, something's wrong. There's a crime that's happened. Ooh, in Glasgow, the centre of crime. Oh, he's drawn in. Mario Gilchrist, murdered, bludgeoned to the head. Good word, by the way, bludgeoned. Beaten to death for a diamond brooch. Someone's been arrested. His name? Oscar Slater. A German. Yes. I am a German. Good accent. Yes, that's how German people speak. You're absolutely correct, Oscar. Slater's been caught trying to sell a diamond brooch. Oh, Slater, it's not looking good. The police bring him in. You, mate. You're under the arrest, mate, for the murder. Yes, I've done bad things. But I have not stolen this diamond brooch. We know. You tried to pawn that brooch. No, mate, it's my girlfriend's brooch, not the murdered woman's brooch. And bear in mind, I'm German. We all agree you're lying, mate. And we sentence you to jail. So off he goes to jail for the rest of his life. Cut to Edinburgh. Sir Arthur, Dr. Conan the Barbarian Doyle realises what this case needs is someone like Sherlock Holmes. Who writes Sherlock Holmes? This motherfucker! I can do this. I can prove that this man is innocent. Strides out the room. He travels to Glasgow. He goes down to the crime scene. You can't go through here, mate. It's a crime scene. Oh, can't I? A, I'm a sir. B, I'm a doctor. C, my name is Conan, as in the barbarian. And suddenly, he's surveying this shit in a way that only Sherlock Holmes would see it. Ooh. Beaten to death by a hammer, I see. Ugh. This hammer is the size of a toffee hammer. That is not a big enough hammer. He said, oh, there's a chair over there that's covered in blood. Maybe she was beat to death by a chair that's covered in blood. No shit, Sherlock. Like, literally, that's where that saying was invented. And as he gets to the door, and this is where he is Sherlocking this shit. This is where Cumberbatch gets his BAFTA. Oh, hello. The door was opened from the inside. He calls it, he's like, dudes, if someone was let into the flat, then she must have known who killed her. And she did not know Oscar Slater. So, clearly, that motherfucker be innocent. Nailed it. He fucking moonwalks out of that crime scene. It cannot have been Oscar Slater. Oh, sensation in the press. We're talking front page headlines. Doyle, you think he's innocent? Which is barely a fucking pun. Sherlock your doors. There's someone on the prowl! Sir Arthur Conan Doyle under your teacup of justice? And yet, do they release him? No. A few years passed. Doyle, like, loses interest. He's like, yeah, all this shit, but I'm gonna just write me some books. So, like, ugh. Oscar Slater, he's stuck in prison. He's learning the fucking harmonica for, like, 11 long years. Like, what has happened to you in 11 years? Camera, dude! What were you doing 11 years ago?
Wanted to do camera.
You wanted to do camera, and now you are doing camera. What were you doing 11 years ago?
Camera.
You wanted to do camera, and now you are doing camera. All we're getting from this interaction is we've got a very dedicated camera team, guys. And if you live your dreams, you can do it. And if you want to be on camera, start now, because it's going to take 11 years. Oscar Slater. Of course he's got that cartoon beard. But the cartoon beard we're imagining is twice as long. And twice as expensive for your costume department. But it is huge. It curls all the way around his body and right into his arsehole. Suddenly, Oscar Slater, he reaches desperation point. He comes up with a plan. I'm gonna write a note on, like, waterproof paper. I'm upset about being in prison. I'm gonna tuck it under my friend's tongue, William Gordon. Yeah, we haven't heard that name before. He's my housemate. Here he is. Hello, William. Hello, my mate. I am from the country of Wales, apparently. That's good to know, because we didn't know where you were from when you started talking. Yes, I am due for release. Out I go into the wild world. Will you smuggle this message for me? How do you feel about that, William Gordon? Yeah, I thought so, brother. You're down with that. So poor William Gordon gets out there to Sir Arthur Conan the Barbarian, Dr. Doyle. He gives him the message. For fuck's sake, William, you could have taken the message out days ago. He opens the letter and he reads his message on fucking waterproof paper and he's like, oh my God, this guy's still here. This guy is still in the game. That's why Sherlock had Watson. To remind him to not be an arsehole. Oh, I should have had a Watson. Where was Martin Freeman? Oh! So Arthur Conan Doyle realizes, I've not forgotten about you, Oscar Slater. And he writes letters to, like, Parliament and to, like, people in the press, and everyone gets excited, and there's a movement, and everyone wants him to be free. It's like, let's do this! And it works. And he's released November 1927. But that was not enough for Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He said, yeah, you've released him. Yeah, but you've had him for 18 and a half years. Let's get that shit pardoned. And they said, that's gonna cost money. So Doyle is like, I've got this. He pays for the lawyers. He pays for the trial. I want a full pardon, mother fudgers. And did they get their pardon? No. No, they didn't. But they did get offered $6,000 in compensation, so they took that. Doyle has spent all of his money to get this guy off, and now he wants reimbursing for it. He says, look, can I get some refund for this? Slater turns round and says, swivel on it, bitch! You ain't gonna see this shit! Off you go, unlucky Conan, you fucking bitch!
on with the tale of Scott of the Antarctic. No story has involved this much alcohol, tents and cold shoulders since I tried to sneak into Cara Delevingne's teepee last Glastonbury. Ian Stirling is telling this one after 2 pints of lager and 9 double whiskey and cokes.
Right, I'm talking about Robert Falcon Scott, a.k.a. Scott of the Antarctic. Excuse me. 1911, Robert's kicking about. He used to be in the Navy. He's been everywhere, mate. Literally everywhere. You name it, he's been it. And he's like, I'm done with this 18 to 30 shit. I'm gonna go South Pole, mate. We want to do research. We want to find out about what's going on down there. So it's all about the research. But in his head, he's thinking, Robert Falcon Scott, middle name Falcon, write it down, F-A-L-C-O-N. I'm going to be the first one to the South Pole, mate. So he's off. He's gone to the place, to South Pole. 4th of January, 1911. Scott and the lads arrive in Antarctica. Got Lawrence Oates, Captain Lawrence Oates. And he's saying things like, I dislike Scott intensely. Scott doesn't know what he's doing. He's reckless. I should be in charge of this whole affair sort of thing. You've got Edward Miller, Mr. Scientist.
Wilson.
Oh, piss. Edward Wilson. He's over there, just constantly on the phone to his missus, like, I'll be home soon, babes. BRB. What time are you going to be on for tea? He's like, in about 7 months. Like, it's a nightmare. You've got Henry Bowers, who was an explorer. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit then. It's fine. Then, bang! Boop, 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 boop. Telegram for Scott of the Antarctic. Scott of the Antarctic is like, you won't believe who it is. Fucking Raoul Amundsen. Norwegian boy. Tall, blonde, handsome. He's tanned even though Norway's cold. That's how handsome this man is. If Hitler had won, Roald Amundsen's what would have happened. But you get the idea. This guy's airing his shit is what I'm trying to say to you, right? He says, hey, Scott, was gonna go North Pole, but Americans have gone to the North Pole. No point now. I'm going South Pole. Go suck a seal cock. We're gonna beat you there, mate, and you're done for. And Scott sees this and he's like, wow, that guy's good at English. That's his first thought. Second thought is like, boys, we're up against a very big man. So they're like, oh, we better get headed off, like. Captain Lawrence Oates goes, how the fuck are we getting to the South Pole? And Scott's all like, we're skiing. Everyone can ski. And Lawrence is like, nobody can ski. Scott's like, what? No one can ski? They're like, nah, no one can ski, man. Scott at times like, oh, we need to change this up. They're like, brilliant. What's your idea? Roller skates. Maybe you're gonna get some roller skates.
Sorry.
Maybe. Sorry. He's like, oh, we're gonna have to walk it. So walking down, it's freezing cold, man. So then, Scott the Antarctic's like, do you know what, lads? This is going terribly. We're gonna go for a detour. Lawrence is like, please say you know a shortcut. Do you know a shortcut? It's not exactly a shortcut. What I want you to do is walk and get some penguin eggs. I need me some penguin eggs. How far, mate? He's like, 100 kilometers. Lawrence is like, this is bullshit. This is absolute bloody bullshit. So they have to walk off and get these penguin eggs. They were gonna get the penguin eggs because they thought they'd find out more about South Pole life, more about penguins. And everyone's like, is this penguin egg worth the expedition? And Edward Miller's like, yeah, like, of course they are. In his head, he's like, we're all gonna die. You get these eggs back. Lawrence has got 2. He's holding them out, like, over his boobs. He's like, I look like a tit and I feel like a tit. He's furious, right? Turns out, no use. No one learns anything more about penguins. They're like, oh, mate, we are so far behind, like. Here's where it gets better. So, on the 17th of January, 1912, they see the South Pole. Scott Antarctic's like, oh. Everyone's like, Scott, that's a bit weird. He goes, shut up, I'm setting the scene. There's still the guys carrying the penguin eggs going, I mean, these are obviously dead now. They walk up. What do they see? Red, white, cross, Bosch. They can hear fucking Captain Norwegian in the background. Norge, Norge, Norge. Ah, fuck die. Fuck die. Norway had been there first. Days before. 26, 36, 46, 51.
34.
34 days in advance. Scott Antarctic's like, are you fucking kidding me? Oates is like, I fucking saw that. I bloody saw that coming. Scott Antarctic's like, this is a nightmare. Not only have we not got there fast, we've got 1,500 kilometres back home. And they're going, we're just heading home, yeah? We're just heading home. Scott Antarctic's like, nah, man, we're making this journey count. And Scott goes, out loud, we're all gonna go get 36 pounds of rocks, mate. And we're carrying them all the way back. Everyone's going, mate, we've got stones in England. He's like, nah, these are South Pole stones. Stones are important. So then the poor Edwards lad, he's texts his missus going, mate, that 8 months, I've got to get some stones. And his missus is doing that whole thing of like, every time you go out, you give it the whole extra month stones thing. He's like, nah, this is legit this time. I need to get me some stones. So, they go and get some stones. Oh, fuck. March 16th, 1912. It's been a long journey. They're cold. They're hungry. They get close. They know they're close. They're like 11 kilometres away. That's it. Easy, but it's a blizzard, mate. It's a nightmare. They pitch up. They're in their tent. And morale's at an all-time low. They all hate Captain Scott, mate. Ed was on the phone to the missus again. I'm in a tent. Is there any women there? There's no women, it's just a load of men. Lawrence Oates is there. Then he looks at his toes and he's like, shit, I haven't got any. That's bad. So he goes, boys, I'm holding everyone back. I may be gone for some time. Which he must have hated. Because in his head he's thinking, penguin eggs and rocks! I've got no toes, mate! That's what he's thinking. But he's British, isn't he? And he walks out that tent. And that's him. That's him knackered. Gone. Edward's fucking Mrs. Furious at this point. She's like WhatsApping her mates. They've got a group now. Edward's a cunt. Can I say cunt? Can I? They've got a group. Edward's a cunt. And they're going, oh, Edward's not been home. What's he been doing? I've been getting 36 kilograms of rocks. All his wife's mates are going, I think that might be a lie, you know. Scott the Antarctic's looking at the bag full of like 36 kilograms of stones going, do you know what? If the truth be told, I think I've dropped the ball in this whole thing. Maybe we shouldn't have picked up the stones. So you're thinking, what do you do? You're 11 kilometers away. Do you just walk it? What does he do? What does he do? What does he do? He fucking waits to die. That's it. Cooks a cup of tea. So he's got heat. Cook the eggs. Dinner is served. But nah, he's too good for that. Oh, at this point, I'll just have a tea and die. Get out of town. So these maniacs have a cup of tea and then sit there and die. Boff. Dead. And then it turns out, once they die, that the rocks they got meant that, like, it turns out that at one point the world was like one whole beautiful planet. Continent. Imagine that. But at the same time, eat the egg! You should have ate it and survived and walked 11 kilometres and got home.
Story combining the fight for feminism with extreme drunkenness. I've been looking forward to this one because A, I believe passionately in women's rights, and B, hopefully it'll feature some lesing off. After 1 mojito, 2 raspberry vodka lemonades and 3 vodka pineapples, let's hope Louisa Omelan is about to make my dreams come true.
My name's Louisa Omelan, and I'm here to tell you about a very special lady. And her name is Emmeline Pankhurst, and she was a pretty bad bitch. Do you want more? Okay. So it's 19... No more ideas like that in this room. Women don't need the vote because women are stupid. Women are very happy just sat in their homes, just sewing, and oh, look at me, I'm having another baby. I'm so delighted and fulfilled in my life. Let me suck your dick. That's what he thinks all women want to do, right? So enter this bad bitch, Emmeline Pankhurst, and she sets up this movement called the Women's Social and Political Union, right? It's a very cool club to be in. The only thing is, you have to be a lady. Actually, that's a lie, you can be a man too. And we all like male feminists. Between 1908 and 1913, things really start to kick up a notch, right? And Emmeline is getting a bad group of bitches together. So she was like, the only way to talk to these fools is to speak their language. So let's get a bit more aggressive on them. Let's get a bit more alpha male on them, shall we? So she goes to number 10, and this was like before the days where they had like CCTV and stuff, and she gets a brick and she throws it through the window. She's like, nah, your face, Asquith. And Asquith was like, why, I oughta. I'm gonna suppress you even more. And that's what he set out to do. He was like, well, I'm gonna get these women. I'm gonna find them. I know what I'll do. You want freedom. You want equality. Why don't I take all your rights away? I'm gonna put you in prison and I'm gonna throw away the key. So any woman that's being like a bad bitch and being like, oh, we want the vote, Asquith is like, arrest these bitches, right? So they're in prison. And then they realise very quickly if they go on a hunger strike, this is where shit gets interesting, that if they go on a hunger strike, they can change their current situation. And all the prison guards there are like, oh, Chinese chicken wings. No, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Just don't look at it. Don't breathe it in. No, remember the movement. Remember equal rights. And they were like, crispy aromatic duck. And Emmeline was like, no. Like, I am all for the women's movement, but if somebody offered me a fucking box of hoisin, I'd be like, babe, you go fight the good fight. Go fight it. So they go back to Asquith and they're like, oh, sorry, sir. Sorry to bother you, sir. The lady has refused her food. And he's like, even the crispy aromatic duck? Yes, sir. And he's like, oh, I know what will show them. We're going to make them show mercy. We're going to make them suffer. We're going to... let's just release them for a few days until they've had a bite to eat, and then once they're plumped up a bit, bring them back in. Excellent idea, sir. Onto it right now. So they went back and Emmeline was there, being like, come on then, what else are you going to bring me? Come on, I haven't eaten. Come on, bring it, dickhead, bring it. I'm ready for a fight. She was ready, right? And they were like, oh, sorry to bother you, madam. You are free to go. And she's like, what? And he's like, you're free to go. I'd like you to eat some food, and then we will come find you, and you come back in. And Emily was like, are you serious? So Emmeline is out of the prison now, right? But she knows that Asquith's out to get her at any opportunity. So as soon as he sees her and he's ready, he's going to arrest her and bring her back in. And Emmeline Pankhurst is like, fuck this shit, right? I don't want to go back into prison. And I don't need to be protected by another man. This is not a man's fight. This is a woman's fight. How do I protect myself? The universe brought her somebody called Gertrude. Edith Gertrude.
Edith Garood.
So close. Emily's doing one of her many speeches, right? And often women come up to her and they're like, oh my God, you're amazing. Can I have your autograph? And she's like, it's fine, here you go. Then one of these women comes up and she's like, sensei. And Emily's like, me no speak Japanese. Right? And she's like, I'm not Japanese, I'm actually from London, but I do study jitsu, sujitsu, jiu-jitsu. And Emmeline is like, well, what am I going to have in common with, hang on a second, you study kapow? And she's like, yeah, sensei. And Emily's like, oh, my days, I need to get you to teach me how to defend myself, so next time the police try and get me, I can be like, pow, 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 smack, pow, pow. She's like, look, let's do a secret self-defense class, which is exactly what they did. Emmeline, having gone through all this training, and she's got this team of women now that are professional fighters. And she calls this team the Bodyguard. And she uses these women to protect her, so whenever she's out in public, she's surrounded by the Bodyguard, which is all these trained women ready to assassinate any policeman that tries to get her, right? She sees this as a perfect opportunity to start preaching to the masses. So she goes to her house in Camden. She, being a bad bitch that she is, goes on the balcony. She starts antagonising the police. She's like, oi, 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 get your truncheons out. Get your truncheons out for the girls. And she's like, what do we want? Emotional maturity. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Deep and meaningful relationships. When do we want it? Now. Basically, she's just really egging on at these fellas, right? Look at you with your big hat on, oi, oi! And she's just getting these girls going wild. So the crowd are all on Emmeline's side, and the police are gathered around, ready to nab her. Now the police, thinking that they're friggin' smart, is like, well, this is easy. We're just gonna wait outside here, lads, and catch her when she comes outside the front door. Job done. Easy in. She goes back into jail. We all go have a pint. It's a good day, right? So what she did is this woman came out from the front door, and she's wearing a veil. And the police are like, lads, there she is, let's go get her, oi, oi, oi. They run through the crowd to get to Emmeline, and a Bodyguard woman sees a policeman, and she fly kicks him in the head, and he falls to the ground. And then another policeman comes forward through the gap, and the woman runs up and she grabs him by the legs, and she pulls his trousers down, and he lies flat on the floor. And then another policeman comes through, and she wraps herself around his back, and he brings her forward to the front, and they lock eyes. And for a minute, it looks like they're about to kiss, and then she remembers why she's there, and she's like, no, and she slaps him. But then, whilst all this was going along, a little new policeman that was at the back just grabbed Emmeline. Yeah, lads, we got her, lads. Finally, we nailed Emmeline Pankhurst. They go to reveal her. It's not Emmeline Pankhurst. It's a little woman from Spain. Oh, fajita. And they're like, what? Who's this woman? And she's like, I'm Margarita from Mexico. And they're like, where's Emmeline Pankhurst? Why? No, senor. You want more salad? I don't know. Anyway, whatever she says. Emmeline, in the meantime, she peeped out the back door and was like, bye guys, see you later. Kiss my butt. And she ran off in the sunset and they didn't catch her. Legend. The next few months, they start doing loads of campaigns about the movement. They did like a big riot outside Buckingham Palace. Like, these women were fearless. And their movement's beginning to get real momentum and real support from women and men. And it really feels like she's about to break through and make an active change. And then history got in the way, and World War I broke out on the 4th of July, 4th of August. When did it break out?
4th of August.
Yes, it's the 4th of August, it's 1914, and Asquith decides to deliver a speech. And he's like, yeah, I know it's all about the men, and I've been really like, go men. But actually, it would really help us if we had a women's support as well, because turns out we need you. And then Millie was like, oh, now you friggin' want some, Now you friggin' want some. Well, okay, I will, because I'm a good person and I realise the greater good. And so she gets behind the country first. She's like, bitches, you need to listen to me right now. The voice in the fight for the country takes precedent right now, because if we don't have a country to come back and fight for, then there's no point, because we're not going to have a country to vote in. And all the women are like, oh, she's got a point. And then women started working in the men's jobs whilst the men went out to war. And as a result of that, in 1918, women finally got the vote. And then she goes back to her Camden balcony, where she is like, bitches, what's up? All you women who have got the vote, throw your hands up in the air. And all the women are like, what? And she's like, what? And they're all like, what? So that's the story, the Suffragitsu. And I mean, The Suffragettes was a great movie. I mean, it was no Strike 1 or 2, but it was a great film. But they didn't reference enough, I don't think, the Karate Kids throughout history that helped women like me get the vote. Here's a pina colada to you, my friend. Apart from this pineapple and vodka. It's a bit cheaper.
The tragic story of the Titanic. Of course, the biggest tragedy of Titanic was that there weren't more close-up shots of Kate Winslet's... By the end of this, Chris Ramsey had drunk 16 bottles of lager, making him officially Newcastle's most sober citizen.
Hello, I'm going to tell you the story of the Titanic, the greatest ship there ever was, that sunk sadly. Iceberg dead ahead! So, it's 1908 and a ship designer, Thomas Andrews, has got an idea for a new ship. Thomas Andrews goes to the guys at White Silver Star liners and he said, I've drew a picture of the best ship you've ever fucking seen. This is ridiculous. Like, look at it. He's a really good drawer. Like in the corner, he drew like a spunk and knob. Like, sorry, I didn't. He ripped them off. And he goes, all right, Titanic, biggest, best, most luxurious, fantastic ship I've ever built. But what's wrong with ships? You name me the main problem with ships. Yes, the sink. Guess what, guys? This one, nah, doesn't sink, mate. Bruce's May, the managing director of the shipping company, and he's just like, shit, that's some impressive stuff. I think in 4 years' time, we'll have that built. And that was it. One meeting. 1912, boom, ship's built. Now, we need a captain for this ship. So they find this guy, Edward John Smith, who was remarkably Captain Birdseye, like crazily Captain Birdseye. Google him. He's evidently crashed a ship before. Edward John Smith has gone in for the job interview. He can't believe his luck. I mean, I imagine it was something like, Edward, thanks. Just before we start, have you, you know, it's off the record. Have you ever crashed a ship? And he's just like, when people ask us if I've ever crashed a boat, I go, no, I've never crashed a boat. Well, I've never crashed a boat that's worth talking about. No, I've never been near a crashed boat. What's a crashed boat? Wasn't even me. Why are you being racist? I was the first white man to use the race card. And they went, oh, he's just ran circles around us. And he's still got the job? It's ridiculous. So, big day comes. This is 10th of April, 1912. They're setting off on the maiden voyage. Edward John Smith, he's buzzing, he's like, all right, he's signing autographs, he's signing people's tits, he's got like 50 bras, he's sniffing knickers people have given him, he's a rock star. So, first mistake to make, lifeboats. There should have been 64 lifeboats. And he's just like, this ship is unsinkable. You know any lifeboats? And they said, okay, we'll put none on. And he went, I'll put 20 on. They head off. They have, in their defence, they have 4 days without incident. Throughout the 4 days, they are given six warnings of icebergs. And he just ignores them all. Edward, icebergs are really bad. Yeah, thanks, noted. Phone down. So, Bruce's mate, he says, look, forget about the icebergs. Why don't you put your foot down a bit? We'll get to New York a bit faster. Because we'll make more headlines. So, like a chav in a Sierra Cosworth puts his foot down and... So they're hammering now. They're hammering full speed ahead. Then, there's a safety drill planned for one of the days, and it's inexplicably cancelled. There's no record anywhere of why it's cancelled. So the guy comes up and he's like, Captain! Captain Edward John Smith. Captain Edward John Smith. Captain Edward Smith. Everyone wants to know what's going to happen in the event that this unsinkable ship sinks. And he's like... That's just going to depress everyone. No one wants to know what's going to happen if they're going to die. They're not going to die. It's an unsinkable ship. They jinxed it. They massively jinxed it. Now, Frederick Fleet. Alliteration in the name's amazing. Frederick Fleet, his main job is to look out for icebergs, right? Now, legend has it that 30 seconds either way would have marked life or death for the people on the Titanic. Now, Frederick Fleet is on the deck. He's looking out for icebergs. But my God, it's a bloody Zumba class happening. He's obviously having a look at the young girls, Zumbaing away. He's seen nothing like it in his life. And then at the last minute, he looks up from some Zumba and he sees iceberg, 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 dead ahead. He freaks out. This is the moment of training that he planned for, that he thought would never happen. He phones up to the bridge and he says, "The iceberg! Dead ahead!" Someone on the other end goes, "Thank you." He puts the phone down. Genuinely true. It was like the stars of fannying on were aligned, so enough people fannied on. The guy sees it, he's messing around, there's a delay on that. Then he phones up, they go, "Thanks," because they're doing God knows what. Then they tell the captain, and then he's so confident. I bet there might have been a moment when he was like, "Iceberg, eh? Let's just chop it in half." There might have been a moment when he thought, "Let's just chop it in half. We're unsinkable. What's the iceberg going to do?" Like, ultra confidence. But there must have been a point where they were like, "Right, okay, the shit's hit the fan here. This is real. This is genuinely real." They turned the ship straight to the side like that. Left or right, whatever it was. Let's say it's left for this instance. Straight to the left. It pops the side of the ship. And then the water started filling in. Thomas Andrews, the man who designed the ship himself, said to the captain, "It is a mathematical certainty that this ship is going to sink." The word spreads that this ship is going to sink. And guess what? Guess what, guys? There is not enough lifeboats. Women and children first! Women and children first! It's fine that you've soiled yourself! You're not a woman! It's lies! Get back, sir! You stand and watch your wife and child leaving your life forever! It's fine! Women and children first! Pretty dark. Apparently, Edward John Smith, the captain, famously said to everyone, "We're fucked. It's, you know what I mean? We're going down. Good game, good game, good game. It's over. I'm going down with the ship." But hey, be British. What does that mean, Edward? It's so vague. What the fuck? It's like a riddle. It's like, don't feed them after midnight. It's a riddle. Shh. This is Edward John Smith, your captain.
The ship is going down. As the ship goes down, you perish, you fall to your death, and you sink and you die and you freeze.
Please remember.
Be British.
They took "be British" as stiff upper lip, and they queued politely for the lifeboats. They took a ticket from the delicatessen machine, they stood there, they waited, they went, "If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. Not a problem." And sadly, over 1,500 people died because of queuing for the lifeboats. But Charles Jogan, the baker on the Titanic, interpreted the phrase "be British" in the way that we would interpret it now in 2016. Charles Jogan got pissed. Charles basically stands there, probably takes his top off, he takes his chef's hat off, he just like smears icing all over himself in a big T for Titanic, going, yeah, I'm British! And he just gets absolutely steaming. And he gets so drunk to the point that when he finally enters the icy depths, it doesn't affect him because he's so drunk and his blood has been so thinned by the alcohol, hypothermia can't set in because his blood can't set. And he gets rescued and he's fine, and it's because he was British and he was pissed. And that's why Charles is my hero. You fucking did it, lad.